Yeah. He's playing a couple Land of Hostilities.
Sure.
Aether Spouts, I guess, is an answer. Sarkin.
I mean, Elspeth is an answer in and of herself.
True. She's
not a great answer, but she's an answer.
Timed correctly. Yes, she is an answer.
Hey, when she's timed for free off of my 3/2 Hexproof First Strike attack,
man, you can't complain.
I cannot be mad. I mean, just burying your opponent under damage is impressive. So I see a Dissolve. What do we have here? A Banishing Light on your Seeker. Once again, the order is a little off, but
yeah, I don't know if I necessarily agree with his sequencing, but his raw power is currently taking over the game. So, and this is one of the traps that people fall into when playing control decks and they get way ahead. Mm-hmm. They start playing sloppily.
Yes,
it's something that you got to avoid doing, but people are guilty of it. Many times I've not plussed a Planeswalker because I was just so far ahead. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you can still lose these games.
So there's the Burmaz. We see the Dissolve he's been holding for a while. Well, Scry, it's another Jeskai Charm.
I mean, keep it, baby.
Yeah.
It's just going to untap and kill him.
Untap plus my team.
Don't even untap, attack, and then fire off that Jeskai Charm at his face for free. Oh, that's right. We have to draw.
We have to draw.
What a bummer! You have to draw a card every turn.
So he shows him. He shows him the double Jeskai Charm.
I don't like showing people cards.
I agree.
And here's salty Sliwa tossing his opponent's cards.
I mean, you have to be. Unfortunately for Ben, it got to the point where, like you said, halfway through the match, he started to fall behind. And I don't necessarily know if that was from Ben's play or from the answers that Charles had, but what it did do was let Charles resolve a card that says, if I attack, I will bury you under advantage.
Yeah. I think it was just that Ben got stuck on, lands.
Sure.
And his draw wasn't even that good to begin with. If he has a turn 1 or turn 2 Seeker there, his draw's a lot better.
Sure.
But he just had a glutton of 3 drops and on 3 mana. And it doesn't really line up all that well
Very true.
Once Charles is able to deal with the first one, and then your other 3-drop is Hordling Outburst, and he can just take the damage and then spend 3 mana to kill all of the tokens, so you're not tempoing him out at all. So
I can tell you, when I play control decks, which I enjoy playing, if an opponent has a creature that they can, a creature as powerful as Burmaz against me that they can continually run out, if they choose not to run that out for a turn, I mean, it makes me a little concerned, but then it also lets me catch my breath because I don't have to deal with that powerful creature anymore. Sure, you Hordling Outburst, you made a bunch of guys, I can clear the field.
Right, yeah. But still, I think playing around Dissolve is correct. All right, let's move to sideboards. So Ben's got 3 Arc Lightning, Vanishing Light, 3 Erase, 1 Windscarred Crag, 2 Sarkin the Dragon Speaker, 2 Hushwing Gryff, and 3 Glare of Heresy. I think he's going to bring in the Windscarred Crag because he's going to bring in the Sarkins.
Yep.
They're pretty good here. I think he'll actually bring in Hushwing Gryff. I don't think it's amazing, but it is something where he can play around sweepers and stuff like that. So I imagine those will come in.
Do you bring in the Glares here to take care of your opponent's enchant, their removal and his Elspeths?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know if I bring in the full 3.
Yeah.
But we saw, 1 Elspeth and 1 or 2 Banishing Light?
Correct.
So, because you don't want a bunch of answers, against the deck that's trying to be full of a bunch of answers. You still want to be proactive.
Sure.
So I do like taking out the 4 Chain to the Rocks. I think Magma Jet stinks.
Arc Lightning's not
I'm
killing
not
the Narc set.
I'm not bringing in Arc Lightning.
It's not doing anything for you.
I think we're boarding out Chain to the Rocks, Magma Jet. Yeah.
Okay.
There might be some other cards in there.
Looking at Charles' list here, what do we...
Charles has got 3 Negate, 3 Erase, Disdainful Stroke, Bramaz, 3 Bramaz, 3 Hushwing Gryffs, and 2 Stoke the Flames.
So let me see if I can handle this one. If I'm Charles, I think I would bring in the Negates. I don't know if I'd bring in the Disdainful Stroke, and I might bring in the Stoke the Flames. There's not a lot else there that I see really... I don't feel like I need to bring in the Burmaz because I don't want to fight my opponent on the ground. My own Hushwing Gryffs really do nothing for me. The Negates at least stop the Hordling Outbursts, and you don't have to wait for the Anger of Gods. And the Stoke the Flames gives you the potential to have a really powerful Narset attack. I mean, if it stays in. Would you agree? What would you bring in?
I think I might bring in Brimaz.
Yep.
I think he's pretty good. I imagine my opponent is removing all of his creature removal, and like Brimaz blocks Seeker of the Way, Rabblemaster, other Brimazes.
Sure.
I might bring in Disdainful Stroke. I don't think I'd bring it. Okay, if I had never seen this deck and I'd never seen this deck list ever before, I would not bring it into this matchup because I don't know what the top of his curve looks like.
Okay.
But if I had seen this deck list, I'm like, okay, well, I'm pretty confident he's going to be playing Chandra and he's going to be playing Stormbreath Dragon. I don't have very many answers
to those cards.
I don't have very many answers to Stormbreath Dragon. I have End Hostilities, I have Aether Spouts, I have one Sarkhan, and I have 2 Stoke the Flames.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably bring in the I guess he has 3 Disdainful Strokes main deck. I mean, I might bring it in. Maybe not, since I have three actually main deck. I probably might even board one out because Ben isn't playing that many 4-drops or 4 or higher. But I do like Brimaz. I do like a couple Negate. I don't know if I'm going to bring in all 3.
I feel like the Negate is just a more mana efficient version for your dissolves at this point. You know what I mean?
But I'm not going to board out Dissolve. I don't. Maybe I might.
When you have the Disdainful Stroke, I mean, you have the sweepers at 3 and 5.
But still, like, Ben's playing, the majority of his cards are, under 3 and under mana.
Sure. Well, here we go this is game number 2. We're going to see both players checking over their hands. I think we're waiting on Ben to decide if he wants to mulligan. It looks like he started with
he said it was like a 2-lander or I mean, if he has 2 lands and a 2-drop, I keep it.
I saw a Chandra.
I
saw a Hordling
that card's
Outburst.
good. I saw Hordling Outburst. I saw Hushwing Griff. This has to be a 1-lander or something, because, I mean, I'm keeping 2 lands.
So he says he wants it. He'll keep it. He'll pass to Charles.
That was the only land I saw in Ben's hand, so Ben's... Like, if he kept a 1-lander, it's just awful.
No, he's got a second.
So he didn't have the white mana. Or he doesn't have a 2-drop.
It looks like the Battlefield Forge is in hand.
Yeah, so I don't know why we even think about mulliganing this hand. Chandra is insane.
Chandra is very good. Chandra is a good card. So there's the white. We'll see the Hordling Outburst.
It depends. If we have 4th land in hand, I'm just gonna Hordling Outburst. Maybe I get my opponent to try to kill the tokens.
Sure.
And then I can slam Chandra, and then hopefully get some value out of it, and doesn't get Banishing Blade. But I like that play. Play my Sorcery Speed spells when I know they're gonna resolve.
You have to wonder if Ben was a little finicky.
Yeah, I don't...
Just worrying about the stubborn denial.
Yeah, I don't think so.
There's the Flooded Strand Crack.
So this could be Brimaz, and Brimaz would be pretty good, but it wouldn't be great because Ben does have Stoke the Flames, so, like, that's a pretty good answer.
It's a very good answer to Brimaz. It solves the problem of his 4-body.
It's definitely Brimaz. Okay.
There he is. So you
well,
were correct on your sideboard.
Card is insane, dude. Look, I mean, it just blocks these all days.
Yes.
All days. It blocks them all days.
Not to mention, makes ones to fight.
Yeah, so Ben's going to Glare at Heresy here and get in. I'd imagine. I would not waste my Stoke the Flames. I would take the opportunity to kill a white thing.
Yes, I agree.
So now that I've seen Brimaz, though, I'm bringing in all those Glare at Heresies.
Sure.
All coming in.
And as we talked about before the stream started, before the tournament started, we talked about how Glare was probably one of the best removal cards right now in Standard.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good against this. It's actually not that great against this red-white aggro deck, though. Don't get fooled. They don't have that many white things.
Or ones that you can even target. I mean,
you can kill a Seeker of the Way or a Brimaz,
sure.
But
that Narset's a little out of reach.
Yeah. So Ben on the aggressive. Still doesn't have a 4th land though, but he is ahead on board. So if our opponent taps out to deal with these tokens, we hopefully can draw a 4th land and slam that Chandra, and then hopefully we don't get Vanishing Lighted because that would just be miserable.
That would not be good for us. Charles, thinking about the Scry there for a little bit. Has a Dissolve in hand. Prognostic Sphinx is also there.
So, I mean, if I'm Ben here, no way I'm gonna cast. No way he's gonna do it. Sustained. Okay, good. He's gonna pass back. He's gonna
smart play.
Yep. He has the Hushwing Griff in his hand, so he can end step Hushwing Griff. and then if our opponent wants to respond, if Charles wants to respond.
There's old Prognostic Sphinx. Old Beardums hits the field.
Like, that card seemed like it's good, but I don't know if we care. We can, so Ben's going to stoke the flames.
You, he says.
Okay, I like that. We need, if our opponent is, well,
puts you down to 9.
I don't know if I like that. I might have Hushwing Grift, and then I know he's gonna play Chandra right here.
Correct.
I have to play Chandra, and then plus. Chandra plus on this Sphinx is ridiculous. Chandra just makes the Sphinx not even that good. I mean, yeah, he's good, but
he's not good. I mean,
he's not good when we can't block, and
our opponent's tapped out. Our control opponent is tapped out.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of like actually playing the Griff there. Yeah, it plays into end hostilities, but whatever. He's killing his Sphinx too, the end hostilities. Yep. So he's not even getting card advantage out of it.
It's interesting. The Sphinx, as much as I like it, it's a card you have to be careful with in control decks.
Yeah. It's really good. Like, it's actually pretty good in this matchup. It's a card that
it blocks a ton of stuff.
Blocks the Wrath Dragon.
Yes.
So
I just worry because you get in a situation like Charles was just in where you have a Dissolve in hand and you just cast your beater that's supposed to provide you advantage, and now your opponent has the upper hand.
Yeah. So Elspeth here would be pretty good. She is always just pretty good.
She's always a pretty good.
She's pretty good. Brimaz would be pretty good here.
Yep.
So one of the reasons I like kind of keeping the Stoke the Flames around, because then, I mean, we could just untap kill this thing, although he does have Dissolve mana up now and 2 Dissolves in hand. So, yeah. So, but even still now, we can, let's see, plus, and then we deal 2. I mean, if we have a couple burn spells in our hand, we're pretty good. See, I think he does still have another Stoke the Flames in hand.
This is also the power of Chandra, though, here, too, because
if
Ben feels like it, he can 0, and if he rips a Storm...
I'm trying to kill my opponent right here. He's at 5.
So Brimaz can't block, he says.
Yep, that's a good play.
Drops Charles down to 4.
Down to 4, get in for 2.
I'm assuming there's a block, yep. And I'm going to Stoke you.
I don't Stoke right here. Upkeep Stoke. If he Stokes right here, it's just super loose. Make our opponent spend his mana on his turn, not on my turn.
Very true. We have a Brimaz.
So we can even cast a Hushwing Griff and step, and then we can, if it doesn't get countered, we can Stoke with the mana.
And then have Hushwing Griff.
Stoke, yeah.
Yep.
So
no.
Charles is not in a very good position here.
Well, not at 2 life.
He does have, so he is, I think, able to kill the Chandra.
Oh, but there's the Jeskai charm that he refused to use last game, which is super good.
Yeah, gains him 7 life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the opportune play, but then he can play it, gain 7 life, scry.
Yeah, do it, man.
And keep Dissolve mana up.
Slam that Jeskai charm.
Oh, come on.
Kill that Chandra.
There
Give my team lifelink.
I just have to wonder, and granted, once again, back to Azurius Charm, the lifelink was the option very few people used.
Man, I didn't even know it existed a couple of times.
It was exceptionally good, though, because when you had your Aetherling and you were swinging for 8 unblockable points of damage, just gain the 8 life. You've already got an Aetherling in play.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so Charles is going to gain 12 life here, or 10 life here, I think, if he is going to use it.
He's looking for cat
Once
tokens.
he finds a cat token.
We got a Mardu Soldier.
It's not a cat, that's a human being.
It kind of looks like a cat.
Get that junk out of here. Go find your kitty cats.
So
I'm working on a mono white cat deck, by the way.
Oh,
so
jeez.
Charles once again doesn't play.
I don't understand.
Doesn't play the Jeskai charm, but
Sliwa?
he still has double dissolve. So But okay, so
here you go.
Here,
okay,
has to dissolve.
Wants to.
Have to
has
dissolve.
to.
We die. We have to dissolve. I mean, you could Jeskai charm it.
Yeah.
So I mean, this stinks for Ben in that we can't now cast Stoke the Flames.
Is he attempting to use the Jeskai charm defensively? As a defensive?
I mean, what's more defensive than gaining 10 life?
I'd like to know